Hey everybody, it's Logan. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank everyone who went out and watched my last video. If you haven't seen it yet, it's about the do's and the don'ts of the college application process. So if you would like to see it, you can follow this link right here, or I'll have another one at the end of this video. So thanks again for the support, it really does mean a lot to me. So while I was deciding which video I wanted to do next, I thought about the fact that before you even get to the college application process, you first need to decide which colleges you want to apply to. So I thought that this would be a really important topic to cover so that you can help narrow down your list of colleges and decide which ones you actually want to submit an application to. Some of you might be thinking, well, why don't I just apply to all of these different colleges and just see which ones accept me? Now, that's a great idea except for two main reasons. So first of all, college applications cost money. They can range from anywhere from $50 to $80 on the upper end, and that can be a big chunk of change when you're applying to more than 10 colleges, so you really want to be conscious of that. And also, college applications take time, so if you are applying to a lot of schools, it's going to take up a lot of your time, and trying to balance that with your school, your extracurricular activities, and if you work, that can get overwhelming at points. So this video, I'm hoping, will really help you to narrow down which colleges you actually want to apply to. So the way I look at it, there are 4 different categories of people in this process. So as you're going through this video, I want you to try and identify which category you fall into, and then I'm going to help to pinpoint what you should be doing if you fall into that category. Okay, so the first type of person is that one individual who already knows where they want to go to college. Perhaps they've known since they were in elementary school, they walk around the school with that college's gear on, they sport it everywhere they go, and they're pretty dead set on going to one school. So for this individual, I would recommend that you do apply to that school because obviously you have an interest in going there, but I want you to also remain open-minded and look at other schools, because it's not a guarantee that you're going to get into your number one choice, and if you don't, that can be pretty devastating. So as difficult as it may seem, you're going to want to be not as dead set on one school, but keeping your options open so that if something bad does happen and you don't get into that school, then you'll have other options. The next type of person is someone who might know what profession or what field they want to go into, but they don't necessarily know where they want to study. So this can be someone who perhaps wants to be a doctor, but they're not sure which college is best for them. So with this, you might want to take a look at college rankings. So online, you can look at a particular major and see where different colleges rank for that major. Now, I'd like to caution you, I would take these rankings with a grain of salt because they're not necessarily true and they're very subjective in how they assign the rankings, but they can help to give you an idea of how good a particular school is for a major. Another thing that can be helpful is actually going to that college's website and perhaps even going to the specific website that correlates to what area you want to go into. So for example, I wanted to be a biochemistry major, so I would go to a college's website and look for their biochemistry page. And that way you can see what type of research is going on, what professors are working there, you can see what type of news they have to boast about, perhaps you can contact one of the professors and see what it's like to be in that department, and that'll help give you an understanding of whether or not you might want to go to college there. The third type of person is someone who doesn't necessarily know what they want to study, but they know what type of college they want to go to. So for example, if you know that you want to go to a large public university that's in-state, but you're not sure what area you want to study yet. So this is okay. You don't necessarily have to have everything figured out yet. But what I would do is look at colleges that are similar to the one that you're interested in, and just get a wide array of colleges that you might be interested in, and then you can look into them more deeply and see whether or not you want to apply there. And also, I would suggest that you look at liberal arts colleges, or colleges that have a wide variety of different majors, so in case you do change your mind once you go away to college, you can still have backup plans and go to different majors easily. And if you're like me, you're at the beginning of the college application process and you have no idea what you want to do or where you want to go, I'm here to tell you that that is okay. Even though it's okay to be undecided at this point, when you do apply to a college, they're going to ask you what major you want to pursue once you get there. So you're going to need to have at least a tentative idea of what you're going to study once you go to that college. My main advice for this is to take a hard look at the activities and the classes that you've been a part of during your high school career and deciding which ones of those have been most meaningful and most impactful to you. look at which ones you've enjoyed the most. So for me, I really enjoyed my science courses and my math courses. So I knew that I wanted to pursue a career and a major in the STEM field. I wasn't quite sure specifically what, but then I took a look more closely and I saw that I really loved biology, I really liked chemistry, so I decided to combine those and pursue a biochemistry degree. I also did some research projects during high school, and I did a lot of extracurricular activities, and those really helped me to narrow it down and decide what I wanted to major in. So I'm tentatively a biochemistry major, but that could change in the future, and that's okay. So you just want to have a general idea of what you want to do, and that'll help you when you're filling out those applications. In terms of deciding which school you want to go to, you're going to want to start asking yourself some questions that'll help to narrow down your college search. So for example, do I want to go to an urban or a rural school? Do I want to go to a small, medium, or large school? Do I want to stay in-state for my undergraduate education, or do I want to go out of state? Do I want to go to a public or a private university? Do I want to go to a school that has a religious affiliation? And how much money am I willing to spend on my undergraduate education? So these questions will help you to narrow down which schools you'll be applying to, and it'll help to kickstart your college search process so that you can have a better understanding of which colleges appeal to you and which don't. Those were the four main categories of people that go into the college application process. And now I'm just going to give you a few general tips that I think apply to pretty much anyone who's going through this process. The first one is visit any college that you have the opportunity to visit. So the best way to get a feel for a college is to actually go there and see what it's like to be a student there. So if you can get involved with a guided tour or an information session, these will be instrumental in you deciding which colleges you want to apply to. So I went to a ton of colleges and visited them all to see what they were like, and it really helped me to see which colleges I wanted to apply to. So when it comes down to it, you're going to be spending 4 years of your life at this place. So you want to make sure that everything about it is something that you can be a part of for the next 4 years. The big issue that people have with the touring process is that it does cost money to find transportation to get to these colleges to visit them. So what I would suggest is that if you aren't able to spend the money to get to these colleges, then I would go to their website. You can do a virtual tour in some situations, even Google Maps. You can do Street View and see what it's like to be on the campus to help give you a feel for it. Sometimes the schools will host webinars where you can talk to people who are involved in the admissions process or work at the university, and they'll answer your questions about the school. You really want to talk to someone who's either going to school there or who works there, or if you can get any sort of first-hand experience with what the college looks like or what it feels like, that's the best way to do it. Also, there are some programs that help out underrepresented populations financially, and they'll actually pay for your trip to go visit these schools. So look into that. If you search for it, I'm sure you can find it, and they'll be able to help you get to the schools that you want to see, because visiting a school is the best way to get a feel for it. The second piece of general advice I have for you is don't wait. So I made the mistake of waiting until the summer right before my senior year to go to these colleges and visit them, and it was just a lot of information to digest, and I had to make my decisions about which colleges to apply to really quickly. So if you can, even during your freshman, sophomore, and junior year, if you have a break from school and can get away for a weekend and go with your parents to visit a school, that's great. Take notes while you're there. Make sure you get as much information as you can. Take pictures so you can remember it when you're trying to decide which schools to apply to. It'll really be helpful, so don't wait until the last minute. It'll pay off, I'm sure, and you'll have a great understanding of what these schools are like and which ones you want to apply to. The last piece of general advice I have for you is find out what's important to you. So everyone's going to have slightly different priorities when it comes down to deciding which colleges to apply to. Some people might be looking at schools based upon their academic reputation, others might be looking at schools in a particular geographic location, others might be looking at schools that have a particular religious affiliation. It's going to be different from person to person. You need to find out what it is that you value in a college, because when it comes down to it, this decision is ultimately yours. You need to decide which place is best for you and where you're going to belong. And if you put the time and effort into deciding which colleges to apply to, then I'm sure you're going to end up where you truly belong. So that's all I have for this week. Thanks again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, you can give it a thumbs up. Also, you can subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media. I'll have my usernames at the end of this video. Also, if you haven't already, you can watch my last video, College Applications Do's and Don'ts. And if you have any suggestions for future topics that you'd like me to cover, go ahead and leave it in the comments below, or you can also contact me directly. So thanks again, and I'll see you all next week. Bye!